Hey guys, this is Marco Williams from Hashbang Games. In our previous video, uh, we got the default example working, importing the package, the Unity package in, and getting all of the input access set up. If I play this again, you can just see it is working kind of out of the box. Come on. Push play. Click in. See. Speedy computer. Okay, so we got everything working, and that's good. But what I really wanted to do was dig a little deeper and show you how to how this is all working and and what we're doing. But I don't want to go through all of the other code. I want to show you how simple it is to get your input working for your own applications. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder here. Create folder. Give it. Oh no, I'm not hash1. I'm hashbang. Okay. And create a new script. And I'm going to call this input detection test. Okay, so I'm going to create a new scene, file, new scene, don't save. And underneath the Ouya project, there is a prefabs folder. So if we go under the SDK, there's prefabs, and there's an Ouya game object. We want to drag that puppy up there. I actually need to grab the developer ID, so let me do that actually from another scene before we do this. Show controller, don't save, object. So I'm going to copy our test key here, and now I'm going to go new scene, drag my Ouya game object, and paste in the developer ID. There's some options here in the game object that we added, which allows you to show the debug in your console. So if I was to just by default turn this off and push play, it should output what controllers are being detected. So here you can see that we are detecting my Xbox controller. It's assigned to player 1. Let me actually bring this over here so you can see a little better. It's assigned to player 1. If you have more controllers, it will actually list all of the controllers that are plugged into your Unity. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that back off. And what show raw access does is gets the raw access values from the controller input and kind of bypasses all of the all the input stuff. So just before it assigns all the input of your controller, it is building a JSON string, and it gives you all of the data that's in that JSON string. It's really only for like debugging if your controller is not working and that sort of thing. So there's some information in there that may help. So now that we have our game object in the scene, I want to open up our project. I'm just going to do this in Mono Develop. I usually use Visual Studio, but I don't have all my handy tools to get that started. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in our awake, I'm going to subscribe to our button event handler. So before you had to do a whole bunch of stuff in the awake to like assign the listeners and all that stuff. That has all been moved into the Ouya game object script, so that you don't have to deal with that anymore. So if we actually go into our Ouya SDK scripts, our Ouya game object, down all the way down here at the bottom, there should be an awake somewhere. I should probably just search for it. Awake. So in our awake, we're doing all of this stuff for you that we previously had you do in the awake in your object, and since this only had to really be done one time, it was better that we stick it in the Ouya game object. So that's how it's still doing this. It's just you don't have to do it anymore. So so now all you have to do in whatever object you want to detect input, you need to subscribe to the event. So we're going to go Ouya input manager dot Ouya button event dot add button event listener, and we want to give it a function of some sort, handle button events, and I'm going to create that function down here. Handle button events void. Now handle button events takes a few different things. One, it takes an Ouya player, so Ouya SDK.Ouya player. It takes a button, so we go Ouya SDK dot I think it's X, no, not X, it's key enum button. I'll just call it B. And it also takes an input action, so input action, and I call them button states, we call them input actions. You say tomato, I say potato. So we got, so now you want to detect, we're going to just do some simple debug outputs here. So we're going to go debug output dot log, and we're going to do string format, string dot format. Come on. And we're going to pass it the player, we're going to pass it our button, and we're going to pass it our input action. And so we'll go player 0, and we're going to go button 1, and then we're going to go action, and we're going to go to right there, and that's looking almost right. I'm missing one of those. Okay, so this is going to just tell us our default what has been passed to this event. If you want to check for, well, one step at a time, let's go ahead and test this out and make sure that it's working. So I need to add this to some sort of object in my scene, so I'm just going to create other Mr. Sphere, and then I'm going to add my input test script to it, and I'm going to push play. And now I'm going to push some buttons on my controller and see what happens. So if I push, now notice you got a button key down and a button key up. So that's how you really can tell what type of action, and you can handle that accordingly. Click in the scene, push Y, push a trigger, push right trigger. Now this is just for all the button presses. You have like, huh. Why is that not working? I swear I mapped these. Ah, okay. Maybe a bug. I don't know. So now I want to show you how to handle the input access. And that is even easier because if you're just handling input access and you're not handling the button presses, you don't even need to subscribe to any events. That has all been taken care of for you. So what I want to do is just do a little debug. Well, actually, I want to put this into a vector too. Point equals point left stick equals Ouya input manager dot get access, and we're going to pass it an access string. So we're going to get our access, and this is going to be just for player one. I'm just going to default it to that for right now, since I only have one controller installed. But I'm going to say left stick, left stick X, and then I'm doing this all wrong here. Vector, new L2 program, vector 2, and I'm going to put a comma here, and then I'm going to just duplicate this and get the Y value. And that should do it. And now I'm going to just debug .log string .format. And I'm going to say X is 0 and Y is 1. And I'm going to pass it point ls dot x, and I'm going to pass it point ls dot y. And that should do the trick. All we have to do is test this out and move our joystick. Oh, I got a poopy message. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Ah, forgot to pass it to player. So we need to put a player. So like I said, I'm just hard coding that we're going to do this for player 1. So we need to pass in our player that we're looking for input from. Oh, I got it. There we go. Now it should be happy. And if I push play and move the joystick around, you'll see I'm getting input from my thing. If I push buttons, and they work cohesively together. And that's about it. That's the simple 1, 2, 3 steps to get this working in your own project. And thanks for watching.